morning. How's breakfast? Welcome to Music City. We are really excited to have ExpressionEngine Conference here in Music City. I won't say that our preparations have been trouble-free, but this morning things have gone really well, so that is a huge, huge plus. AV is ready to go. So Nashville is a really great place. I really like being in the Nashville area. I just wanted to share this image right here. This was Nashville in 2011, and then Nashville in 2018. I don't know if you can see with the lights on there as well as I would like, but you can see the skyline has just changed dramatically over the last couple of years. So we are growing by leaps and bounds here in Nashville. And as we get started, I want to talk a little bit, just really briefly, I won't bore you, about what makes this conference possible. So in addition to me, we have these people right here, and these are co-organizers with me. Andy was working the most closely with me. I'm here in Nashville, so I got to be point person. Yay. And so he was also working closely with me to get things ready in time for the conference. And all these other folks, like Ben is handling our awards and our workshops. Brian wrangled the speakers. We have Paul to thank for managing the party that we're going to go to tonight. And you're going to see Josh around here taking photos. He's handling that for us. I also want to give a big shout out to Susan Snipes. She was not supposed, give her a hand. She was not supposed to be the organizer this year, but she wound up being the organizer, and so she put a lot of work into this conference. And so if you see her, please thank her as we continue to do as the other organizers as well. We are extremely thankful for Nexus. They are our platinum sponsor this year, so be sure to patronize them and tell them how thankful you are that they are making this conference possible. Susan's company, UX Within Reach, has also given a lot of money to the conference, so be sure to reach out to her and check out her website as well. And of course, we have a number of other sponsors as well, and their URLs are all on the website, eeconf.com, so be sure to check them out as well. But also, in addition to our sponsors, we're thankful for you being here, because without you, there would be no ExpressionEngine Conference, and that is really why we put this conference on, is for the community. We have a great community here around ExpressionEngine, and it is really wonderful to be a part of that community and to help in some small way by putting on this conference. We have some representatives from Ellis Lab here, and they will be happy to talk with you about ExpressionEngine. You know, if you have any questions about EE5, maybe, I don't know. So be sure to chat with them. Derek asked me to convey that they would be happy to talk with all of you and any of you as you come up and talk to them and ask them questions as well. And now, I would like to ask somebody to come up who you probably know at the very least by their last name. We have here with us Rick Ellis, who has a special announcement for us, for those of us who are here at ExpressionEngine Conference.
Good morning. Wow, thank you so much for being here. We are so thrilled to be here today. I'm Rick Ellis. I'm the founder of Ellis Lab. I've got a terrible case of laryngitis. It was pretty touch and go whether I could even talk today, so I'm going to try to get through this. But we are so excited, and hopefully my voice can convey that. It probably won't, but know that, you know, we have something really special to announce this morning that I think you guys are going to be so excited to hear. First, a little funny story. So the last time I came to one of these events, I actually got pelted with eggs. For real, that actually happened. A bunch of us were walking to an after-conference event, and a car full of teenagers roared by, and they started pelting everybody with eggs. And of course, I'm the only one that got hit with eggs, like 3 of them. So as I was getting out of the chair, I'm thinking, oh man, I hope they don't have eggs this morning, because I'm not prepared for that. But the good news is, even if you had eggs, we're pretty confident that you wouldn't throw them, because we've got something super special to announce. Something that is going to transform ExpressionEngine. It's going to transform Ellis Lab, and it's going to have a huge impact to everybody in the community. This marks a new chapter in the life of ExpressionEngine. And we think it just might be the most exciting chapter yet. So, and I was going to go on a little story and lead up to it, but you guys are smart, and I know you would figure out what I'm talking about. So maybe we should just let the cat out of the bag, right? So, is everybody caffeinated? Yeah? Your seatbelts are fastened, your tray tables are stowed, All right. I'm surprisingly nervous, by the way. I don't normally get nervous talking in front of people, but this one's a little different. So, starting in November, ExpressionEngine is open source. Yeah. Yeah, this is huge, and we are so excited about this, and we hope that you are too. I know it's just settling in, but the prospect of an open source expression engine and the potential it has to just drive incredible growth and incredible opportunity for everybody that's associated with it, the entire ecosystem. I mean, it's huge. And so you're probably wondering, the logical question is why? What led to this decision and how'd you get here? So for that, let's go on a little trip down memory lane and let's see if we can unpack how we got here. And I know we're a little tight on time, so I'll try to not get too nostalgic, if you will. So in 3 months, Ellis Lab turns 17 years old. And that not only does that blow my mind, but it explains why my back hurts when I get out of bed in the mornings. So show of hands, how many people were around in those early days? So yeah, oh, awesome. So 17 years ago, in January of 2002, we released our first CMS, a blogging tool called P Machine. The P stood for publishing machine. And those of you who were around back then know just how profoundly the web has changed since then. I mean, it's just a different universe now. In the early days, you could count on like 1.5 hands the number of CMSs in the world. There was Blogger that invented the genre, and much respect to Evan Williams who did that, and who went on to found Twitter, and that really pisses me off because that guy just has the golden touch, honestly. I hate guys like that. So how many people remember, in the early days, there was something called gray matter as well. Anybody remember that? Yeah, a few people. Man, you guys are so new school. That's pathetic. So back in my day, we used carburetors in our engines, you know. So gray matter came along really early on in the early days, just after Blogger, and it was so influential. It was written by this guy named Noah Gray, and he was a brilliant and enigmatic and tortured soul who needed to blog as self-therapy, so he taught himself Perl and released this product. It was short-lived. Eventually, he would go on to become a photographer and do other things. I remember probably around the year 2000, I was surfing the net, and I stumbled on this thing called a blog, right? And we take it for granted now. I mean, in those days, it was like, what the hell is this, right? But there was a link that said powered by gray matter, and that led me down a rabbit hole of exploration for hours, and it was like a lightning bolt went off in my head, and I said, this is the future of the web. This is going to be profoundly transformative, and I want to be part of this. And so he influenced me to release P Machine. About 3 months before P Machine came out, a tool you've probably heard of called Movable Type came out. And Movable Type was essentially a gray matter clone with a better interface and better templating. Sorry, I've got snot running down the back of my throat. TMI, I know, I'm sorry. And so in the early days, there was another tool called B2. B2 was written by a kid from the Netherlands, I believe, and I think he was influenced by gray matter as well. And he would eventually abandon the project. Another developer you might have heard of named Matt Mullenweg ended up forking it and calling it WordPress. And there were a few other systems in those days. Drupal was around. Text Pattern came out sometime around there then as well. But that was it. That was the entire world of CMSs in those days. And today there are easily 500 systems, right? It's just a huge, huge market now. And the other thing that was not readily apparent in the early days was that that open source would become the dominant licensing model. You know, we take it for granted now because it's just permeated the entire, you know, DNA of the entire web. But in those days, you know, the general public hadn't even really heard of open source. It wasn't until Eric Raymond wrote The Cathedral and the Bazaar that the general public even began understanding open source. And so if you fast forward to today, open source is absolutely crushingly dominant, not just in the CMS world, but in every corner of the web. By some estimates, it is like 90% of the tools that we use. Huge. So for the past 7 years at least, Derek Jones and I have been tracking this. We've watched year after year after year open source gobble up more and more and more of the market. And every year we say, you know what? We need to jump on this. But to fundamentally transform yourself from a commercial company to a services company, when you're a small company with limited resources, it's a pretty difficult thing to do. Seth Godin, the great motivational author and speaker, he talks about jumping off of a diving board. And the diving board is really a metaphor for taking risk in business. It's a metaphor for taking risk in our own lives, in our own careers. And he notes that jumping off of a diving board is really conceptually a trivial thing. You scale 14 or 15 rungs on a ladder, and you walk to the edge of the board, and you leap. Most companies never leap. Most individuals never leap. Because to go from the security of the known to the insecurity of the unknown is actually a very difficult thing to do, because you don't know if you're going to belly flop into ice cold water or if you're going to do a beautiful swan dive and look like a hero. So instead, most people and most businesses, they iterate. They increment themselves forward year after year after year. But here's the thing. Great rewards doesn't usually follow the iterators. Great rewards usually is available to those that are willing to risk and take a leap into the deep end of the pool. So this summer, Derek Jones and I, we made a decision to leap. And what started out as this vague, fuzzy idea began emerging, and it turned into a business plan. It turned into lots of conversations with our best customers. It turned into conversations with potential partners. It turned into conversations with potential investors. And through all the twists and turns and ups and downs, we were able to craft a plan. And we're here today to say that we did it. We've got the pieces of the puzzle in place today to be an open source company. And we are so excited. We didn't even know, honestly, a week ago for sure that we'd be able to make this announcement today. Derek Jones and I were in Los Angeles just Monday, putting the finishing touches on a deal that would allow us to do this. And again, we're thrilled to do this. So the next logical question you might have is, what is Ellis Lab going to do now? Well, we are going to become a services company, a services agency. Most open source initiatives, at least the big ones, have an agency behind them. Think about what an Automatic is to a WordPress, or an Acquia to a Drupal. But here's the thing. Most of the time, the agency that develops the product is competing for clients in the same ecosystem as the agencies that are using the product. So it can be kind of an adversarial relationship, and we hate that idea. We don't want to compete directly against you guys. We want to empower you guys. So we're going to be rolling out a range of services ranging from really simple things like website optimization all the way to full-blown custom software development. and we're going to be offering those services to the people that build stuff for ExpressionEngine. In essence, we want to become your partner in order for you to take on maybe bigger clients that you couldn't go after because you didn't have the development capability, or have the confidence to walk into a meeting and say, hey, I've got the resources to do everything that you guys ask us to. So that's going to be a big part of what we do. We're also going to be rolling out some new support plans and some new ways to help users and individuals and agencies. We're also unveiling a whole bunch of partnership opportunities for firms and agencies that want to get in on the ground floor of our ecosystem and really leverage all of the traffic and associate their brand more tightly with our brand. So those are some of the things we're going to be doing, and that's just phase one. Phase one is to get ourselves as a successful open source company, and we've got lots of great ideas, and now we've got the resources to be able to go after other things as well. But those are things we'll talk about later. The last thing I want to mention is that before the end of the year, oh, by the way, all of these changes we're going to be rolling out in November. The changes to our website, the service offerings, everything is going to become clear in November, and we're putting the finishing touches on a lot of those things. The last thing I want to mention is before the end of the year, hopefully next month, but definitely before the end of the year, we are rolling out an ExpressionEngine marketplace where third-party developers can sell their add-ons. And this has been a long time coming. It's been something that people have asked us for a long time. And we expect our ecosystem to just explode with developers and new things coming online. So it makes sense to have a central repository, an app store, where people can show up and they can see what's available. And I think it's going to be good for everybody. So that's it. That's our announcement. Welcome to the future of open source. Welcome to ExpressionEngine. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. When Derek told me they wanted to make an announcement, I literally had no idea what they were announcing, and I don't know how to follow that up. That's amazing. So I guess I follow that up with this. We're going to bring up our keynote speaker now. This